But let's peep Josh Jacobs now. He has a rushing touchdown, as I mentioned, in 10 straight regular season games dating back to last year. He's the fourth player in the last 30 seasons to see that streak reach double digits, along with LaDainian Tomlinson, Jonathan Taylor, and Priest Holmes. Rashan Gary spoke with Jeremy Fowler after the game. Here it is. It's new on SportsCenter.
Yeah, just understanding, third and long, we're all right. They've been in 7-man protection all day. So, when it's in 7-man protection, our inside guys got to eat. But once again, man, you put hands on one, I'm going to get home. You put hands on 5-2, one going to get home. So, just being consistent and just rushing every snap.
Yeah. What do you think the identity of this Packers team is right now?
Just hungry, unproven, man. And, we just focus, locked in on one goal. That's to go 1-0 every week. So right now we 2-0. We got a little bit of a week into ourselves to, get a little bit healthy, and then on the Browns.
You said unproven. Why do you say that?
Because everybody's hungry. And, we got that unproven mindset, man. We could be as great as we want to be, but we got to come out every Sunday, every game day and prove it to ourselves.
Yeah. What do you see from number 10 tonight?
Man, he's a dog. The way he's composed himself, the way he lead the team, man, any type of guy like that, you got to put the faith in him, and he's been doing a hell of a job.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate you.
And Green Bay opens its season with a pair of victories over teams who had a dozen wins last year. They're just the fifth team in the Super Bowl era to do that. Among the previous four to do so, none made the Super Bowl. And in 2002, the Broncos failed to make the playoffs. But it's an impressive victory. Damien Woody is here alongside. And Damien, we've gone to great lengths through the years to make it very clear early in a season that a couple of games is way too small a sample size to freak out. However, it's enough that you have seen from Green Bay to comfortably say what about them?
Oh, they're right there with Philadelphia in the NFC. Like the way that the Green Bay Packers are playing right now. And I said when Micah Parsons got traded to the Packers, he brought juice with him. And that juice is overflowing to all those guys, particularly on the defensive side of the football. Scott, we saw the whole game, how those guys are hunting like hyenas out there, flying all around the field. Listen, this is a Washington Commanders team last week that ran for like 220 yards.
Yep.
They had 51 yards rushing tonight, okay? They held this Washington Commanders team in check. And when you're playing this well defensively, think how aggressive that Jordan Love and company on offense can play, knowing that they have a defense that can totally back them up.
It certainly helps frame what was a really disappointing week one from Detroit, right? You see a game like this against a team who made it to the NFC Championship game in Washington, who has an explosive offense. They didn't go nuts against New York, but New York's got a nice front as well. But now this is 2 weeks in a row where they've really stifled on defense. And then as you said that can really help Love. How does it help so much for Love to get into a rhythm on offense when the defense is giving him the football back right out one series after another?
Well, I think it's the aggressiveness. We saw it time after time with the Green Bay Packers on offense, those shot plays down the field. And when you have a defense playing the way that they're playing, where they're basically eliminating the opposition's offense, you're able to take more, gambles per se on the offensive side of the ball. We know this Green Bay Packers team, they have so many weapons, whether you talk about Tucker Kraft, Matthew Golden, Romeo Dobbs. They have a plethora of weapons out there, so this is what it's all about.
Watson's still on the bench and will be back maybe week 5, perhaps week 6. Reed went down very early with a shoulder injury in this one. So weapons, yes, but the way this defense is playing, and again, I made the point, Detroit had the late touchdown week 1. Washington got the late touchdown here. I mean, the game largely wasn't that competitive, and they bottled up Daniels. 2 weeks is only 2 weeks, and you are at home, yes, but you're very comfortable in saying put them right there with the team that just won the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Think about this over the last 2 weeks. The Detroit Lions, who had the number one seed in the postseason last year. The Washington Commanders, who went to the NFC Championship game. And both of those defenses held both of those teams to 250 yards and less.
Josh Jacobs is going to be our guest. We'll visit with him a little bit later. Again, he's got a touchdown in 10 consecutive games. Anything about this concerning to you from the Washington standpoint, given that Daniels did look like he rolled an ankle there late, did stay in to get the late touchdown to Debo, but the offense hasn't really popped these first 2 weeks. They've got the Raiders, and then they hit the road for a couple. Is there anything concerning about this NFC Championship team from a season ago that folks around here in our neighborhood are hoping to see ascend? What haven't you seen from them early?
Yeah, I mean, I think the deep passing game, those explosive plays in the passing game hasn't been there yet. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it can take a little time to get that connection going in the deep passing game with Terry McLaurin. But I think that's the element that's missing with the Washington Commanders. They were able to run the ball for a ton of yards last week, but they need those explosive plays in the passing game.
We got to go. But as a man that made his living trying to keep his quarterback's uniform clean, the get-off speed from number one in the white jersey.
It's sick. It's just absolutely sick. I felt so bad for the rookie out there just trying to block him one-on-one. It was bad. It was real bad.
I mean, rookie or the right tackle or left.
It didn't matter.
Or Tunsil, the left tackle, has been around for a while. It's really hard to keep. And he's got some company there. That get-off speed, that's a youngest defense in the league.
Youngest team in the league.
Well, they don't look it. Lambeau, where Green Bay, an impressive win week 1 against Detroit and another impressive victory against another playoff team on Thursday. And Jordan Love, a couple of touchdown passes and another clean sheet. 9 consecutive games without a pick. Tucker Kraft went nuts. The defense continues to do its thing. Here's Love on a start that really could not have gone any better than it has.
Yeah, it feels great. To start the season off 2-0 against 2 really good teams, 2 good teams in NFC North that were obviously big playoff teams last year. It feels good. So couldn't have started the season off on a better note. So it's one thing that we just got to keep building on. But it feels great right now.
Along those lines, Jordan, we talked a lot about last year against the big games that you guys couldn't win. Did you guys make a statement by beating Detroit and Washington right off the bat?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, every year is a new year, so you never know how these teams will be. And obviously, new year for us. So we got to come out and, I think more importantly for us to be able to come out and start fast in both these games and, be able to finish it with the defense coming up with, holding 2 really good offenses to, some pretty low yards and low points until the end there it's just fun. So I think it's like I said, it's just a great way to start the season and something we just got to keep building on.
Packers had the opportunity to get to 2-0, as did Washington. The Packers get that victory, and since the new playoff format was introduced just a few years ago, 2021, 77% of the teams to win their first 2 games did go on to make the playoffs. Josh, it's Scott Van Pelt. You and I got a chance to visit last year at Lambeau. Thank you for throwing in the headset here tonight. And let me just start with what I mentioned there. Like a franchise that's as storied as the Packers, and you got a franchise record with this consecutive streak of touchdowns. Does that represent something special in your heart?
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously, with how historic this franchise is, to have any kind of record, I think is an honor and a blessing, man. And I can't credit my teammates enough, for helping me get it.
The defense that you have right now is absolutely cooking. Damien Woody and I were talking about it earlier. You already had a bunch of young bulls out there, and you had number 1 to the mix. I know you're watching on the sidelines, but what have you seen from this group against 2 really good offenses in Detroit and Washington?
Yeah, man. I mean, you look at a defense, man, that's hungry, that's electric. They fly around. Man, I catch myself a lot in the game, just standing up watching them, man, seeing who's going to make a play next. And you never know who's going to make a play, man. A lot of these guys are playing at a high level right now.
No doubt. And you all have played from, as I mentioned, comfortably in front. Your quarterback's playing real clean football. When the game script goes like that, Josh, and you're pretty much ahead of the chains and you're ahead on the scoreboard, how does that allow you to play, I don't want to say easy because nothing is in the NFL, but when you're playing from there, how does it change the way games can go?
It definitely make you, get a little more creative, when you had a ball, even, play calling, you might dial up some things that you normally wouldn't call. But, man, I know as an offense it feels fun. Whoever the guy is making a play, the next guy making a play, we celebrated together, man. So it's been real fun these last 2 weeks.
Tucker Kraft get a game ball or something? My man went bananas tonight.
Yeah, man, he did. He deserved it, man. I mean, if you see the way that this dude works on a day-to-day basis, the way he leads, as a captain and things like that, man, I think he definitely deserves, the type of night that he had. And I hope he can keep stacking it.
All right, let me close with this. I mentioned Damien Woody. He's here with me every Thursday, and I asked him, what are you comfortable saying about the Packers? He said, I put them right there with Philadelphia. I know it's just week 2, but how do you describe the sort of belief that's among this group that, as I said, was already awfully talented and had one of the best in the game in Parsons? Where do you all mentally here early in September?
Yeah, man. I mean, we felt like last year we left a lot on the table, man, and we brought back a lot of guys and then added some really good pieces. And, we feel like we were right there. Obviously, we got to come in day to day and, work out the kinks and, take it week by week. But we definitely feel like in our hearts that we have what it takes.
Well, you got that nice extended bye from the Thursday to next Sunday, so enjoy the time, and we'll see you in your place. It's a little ways down the road, but Monday Night Football and Countdown will be in your place back. I guess it's Week 10 for Philly. I look forward to saying hello in person then. Josh, thanks for taking a minute.
Just like, for me, like when I have a first-time experience, I like to just take things in and just enjoy what's around. It was like really beautiful to see. Like, that was a unique atmosphere that, I don't see too many times. So I just wanted to take it in, program it into my mind, and just remember how blessed I am and how amazing it is I was about to play football.
In what ways do you feel the defense took another step and built upon 4 days ago?
Just because we came out and did it again. Play consistent. We gave us some things that we didn't want to, more points than we wanted to. But, we made them earn everything, and that's just important. No big plays. We made them earn everything, and that's the good part.
What do you feel about the place?
Great context on that venue. Damien and I were talking about how special Lambeau is. You hear him raving about it. He played 68% of the snaps, keeping in mind he's not all the way healthy yet. That's pretty frightening. A couple notable numbers in week 2. Chicago and Detroit, one of them is going to fall to 0-2. Lions laying under a touchdown there. Chiefs, a rare home underdog versus the Eagles in a Super Bowl rematch. Doubleheader on Monday night. Bucks, Texans, Chargers, and it's obligatory. Damien Woody is back alongside. And Damien, I feel like we revisit this stat at this point every season that we've been talking with one another. Since 2021, there are 30 teams who've started 0-2. Only 5 have made the playoffs and none have made the Super Bowl. I say that to say this. Kansas City plays Philly, team that kicked their butt in the Super Bowl a year ago, and they lost week 1. I'm not saying it's a must-win game for Kansas City, but I'm asking you, where do you want to see them look better than they did in week 1 against the Chargers?
Scott, they got to have more explosive plays offensively. Their passing game is anemic. And I know Xavier Worthy got hurt early in the game in Brazil, but they got to find a way to manufacture explosive plays because it is too hard to have these 12, 13, 14 play methodical drives in the National Football League. You gotta create chunk plays in order to give yourself a better chance to score touchdowns.
It's just wild to think we're talking about the Chiefs and say that they need more of something. But you know what? That feels like a lifetime ago that they were that high-flying offense. Kind of like the Dolphins were a high-flying offense. Now what's happened? I'm not comparing those two teams. I'm just saying the Chiefs were like a pinball machine, and now they're not. Kansas City also, I think, probably is aware of the fact that both the Raiders and the Chargers the Raiders certainly look different. The Chargers have been there. They beat the Chiefs week 1. That's a really interesting game to me. Mm-hmm. Are you buying either, neither, or maybe both of these teams at this point?
Well, listen, I'm definitely buying the Chargers. I think, Justin Herbert was just outstanding. And I just think that the combination of Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh as coach, he's really instilled that confidence in him. Mm-hmm. And you saw – here's the thing that I've always said about Justin Herbert. Hasn't been able to finish. Right. And he finally finished against the Kansas City Chiefs in Brazil. They are well coached, they are physical, they run the ball, and they play really good defense. That combination can take you very far.
I'm really interested in this game from the Raiders' perspective. New coach, new OC, new quarterback, Genty, and plenty of other new pieces as well. I feel like this is a giant chance for the Raiders to take a step forward early on in this season. All right, we mentioned Detroit and Chicago. I know that's a game that interests you. One of them, I started to say by rule, you could tie the game. But one of them figures to leave here 0-2. This Green Bay performance tonight maybe frames that Detroit Week 1 performance in a different way. Do you have concerns at all about the Lions?
I do. Offensively, the creativity wasn't there. The running game wasn't there. They're breaking in 3 new starters on the interior of their offensive line. They got absolutely pushed around by the Green Bay Packers last week, and Green Bay's going to do that. Their defense is going to do that to a lot of people. But it was the lack of creativity. And who comes into town? Their old offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, who's now the head coach for the Chicago Bears.
Who had a double-digit lead on their home field against a division opponent Monday and saw that slip away. Like it feels like the stakes are pretty high for both of them for it being week 2 game, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Another division rival, you don't want to fall 0-2.
No, as we said, recent history says that's really a poor way to start. As always, Damien, appreciate your time. We'll see you next week.